Thank the Jerusalem Film Fund, the Israel Film Festival, the Consul General of Israel, all of you for inviting me to speak this morning. It's a very great honor. For people who don't know me, I think the reason why I was asked to speak is not only for my great personal love of Israel, but because I share some of the same mutual goals as the Film Authority, to increase production of television shows and movies in Jerusalem. Topics don't even need to be about the Middle East. The studios can shoot there for cost savings the way they shoot in Eastern Europe. However, obviously, if it's important to have Jerusalem in the background, because of the subject matter, that makes it that much more compelling.
Working on it.
I could really speak for hours about the topic because it's my passion, Israel, and then also entertainment. People often ask me if I had a great love for Israel. When did it start? I never had a proper answer to that question until last year. As I was preparing to write my speech for my son's bar mitzvah, I actually found my speech for my own bar mitzvah some 20 years ago, or maybe plus 20. I was very pleasantly surprised to read that the main topic of my bar mitzvah speech was why Israel is so important to the Jewish people and why we can never ever take the country for granted. As Jews, we should do everything in our power to help keep the country strong and vital. So now a little about the picture you see behind me. You can't really see. After college, I went backpacking in Europe for 3 months. When I was in Greece, I realized that this was the perfect time in my life to go to Israel and spend some time there. I did go, and was placed in Kibbutz Mavarot near Netanya. While there, I realized that you cannot really understand Israel without understanding the people, and that one of the most essential parts of understanding the people was their military service. There happened to be a program called Marva, which is really like Tiranut, or basic training, for Jews around the world who are thinking of making Aliyah. It actually had the highest Aliyah rate out of any other program. It was 3 months of intensive basic training, Kashay Ma'od. We did all sorts of stuff like Shloshot, Hazasta, Nisiot, Alonkot, Shmirah, Akol. We also traveled around the country and stayed at different military bases and were paid a paltry military salary, in shekels, of course. I decided to apply. When I wrote my mother, she freaked out and insisted that she come to Israel and go on my interview with me, the highest ranking general of the Gadna. That's the Youth Services Division. You have to actually meet with these people because you're going to be carrying an M16. They don't want crazy Americans that are looking to do bad things. The fact that I wanted to do this program, coupled with my overly Zionistic letters to her suggesting that all Jews should live in Israel, led my mother to believe she was losing her son for good. She did come, although she really couldn't afford it. On my interview with the general, she asked him why he thought it would be safe for me to walk around with an M16 when I didn't really understand Hebrew, and all the directions were to be given in Hebrew. She said, what happens if you tell him to put the gun down and you start shooting? He said, don't worry, Mrs. Berkowitz. Everything will be fine. He was right, and it was an amazing experience, and I was more committed to making Aliyah than ever. As it turns out, it's a good thing I didn't, because I think I'm more helpful to Israel now than I would have been if I was working on the kibbutz. So the plan was to move back to the USA for 2 years and prepare to move to Israel. During all that time, I was desperate to relate to all things Israel. Mary, you're not going to believe this, but as a secretary, I went to the film festival in 1985. I signed one of the directors. I think one of the 6 movies was called Rage and Glory, or Rage and Bull. It was Avi Nesher. And I remember the festival clearly. It was on 7th Avenue, I think in the Carnegie Theater. And who knew who I was as Secretary William Marsh there that I'd be standing up here today. So I think that's pretty cool. So as a secretary, it was helpful in signing a bunch of the people there. How lucky am I that I'm in a position to combine my love for Israel with actually helping the country's entertainment sector. As many of you know, Creative Artists Agency represents a significant amount of product coming from Israel to America, and we also represent a great cross-section of Israeli media companies. It is my work dream, really truly, Be'emet, to help get TV shows produced in Israel for the American market. The Jerusalem Fund is a great partner to help facilitate this dream. I hope all of you share in our enthusiasm, and it will be one of your dreams as well. Toda rabah. Thank you for letting me speak this morning.